ecosystems. That is the living together and how it all plays a part into each other of the animals at a place and the plants and also the environment. What type of soil is there, what rocks, what is the sunshine, how much wind is there, what temperature, what climate, is there frost and so on. And it's all playing together. There's the ground on which then things can grow, grass, trees, depending on what nutrients are in the ground, calcium and so on, for weathering that is coming up, and when grasses are growing, which are eaten by the Arctic hare or by reindeers or other animals, and what trees are growing in which animals are living, woodpeckers, maybe insects are eating of the coniferous trees and woodpeckers are eating the insects, and after some time the trees are falling down, the grass is dying, the shrubs are dying, and then it's again lying on the ground, decomposing and becoming again soil, which then goes on again, out of which things grow. So all the living together of animals, plants, and the whole environment with the weather, the rocks, and so on at a place, that is the ecosystem. According to Geography, by Jane Ferretti and Brian Gressly on the page 44 and 45, the positions and views expressed are the ones of the source and not necessarily aligned with my own or with the ones of the entity spoken of.
Hi and welcome. I'm trying to learn botany today, ecosystems, and after we've done what we call do stretching, and if you participate in the stretching, then it's very harmless. An ecosystem consists of the plants and animals which live together in a particular environment. Okay, all living together, plants and animals together, that is the ecosystem, how they all live together. They depend on each other and on non-living parts of the environment, such as rock and soil, water, sunlight, and temperature. Many animals are eating the plants. If the plants wouldn't be there, the animals couldn't. And also the rock and soil. If the soil wouldn't be there and there would be desert, now trees would be growing, and also many animals wouldn't be living there. And if there would be no sunlight, there would be also not much living, and also no water temperature. So altogether, all the things present, also the environmental things like the soil, water, sunlight, temperature, having a part in a whole system, everything influencing the other ones. The structure of a woodland ecosystem. Animals found in a woodland include many species of insects and birds and mammals such as rabbits, squirrels, and foxes. In woodlands or forests are many animals living. Sunshine and the rain are needed for photosynthesis, so they are essential to the ecosystem. Other climate elements such as wind and frost are also important. So without sun there's a problem, because the trees need to make photosynthesis. They take, I don't know exactly, getting the sunlight and with the leaves making the photosynthesis and getting through that then the nutrients which they need, together with water and other things. And wind and frost are also important. They say wind maybe to make the I think there are also called pollen around. Frost, there are some plants which are influenced by it. I don't know what I mean. Microorganisms such as fungi and bacteria are decomposers. They help to break down dead plants and animals, releasing nutrients into the ecosystem so they can be recycled. So the plants are falling down, the leaves are falling down, the tree, maybe also the whole tree and the whole plants and the shrubs, and then they're lying there. They don't just keep lying there forever and ever. I think I'm using that saying actually wrong. They keep the lying for not forever. They are decomposed from little organisms, making them into new soil on which then new plants can grow. Soils store water and contain nutrients which plants can use. Soils are home to insects and decomposers. In the soil is water, but if water is not running away, it is staying in the soil, and trees can, even if there's for 2-3 days no rain, still have drinking out of it. And there are also nutrients in minerals and stuff. They said something like that here, with nitrogen, calcium, magnesium, potassium. And also insects and decomposers are living there. Rocks help in the formation of soils, and the rock type is important. Weathering releases nutrients stored in rocks into the ecosystem. So what type of rocks is very important, how the roots can have firmness, but also that the rock is eroding, and when the rock is eroding, the materials out of which it is are getting free, are getting exposed to the environment, and then stuffs like nitrogen, calcium, magnesium, potassium could be in the rock, and they are feeding now the plants here. Plants include trees, wildflowers, grasses, mosses, and archaea. They provide food and shelter for many animals. Nutrient cycling. Nutrients are essential minerals such as nitrogen, calcium, and sodium, which are needed by all living things. Also plants need these things, like nitrogen, calcium, sodium, do they say here. Nutrients occur naturally in rocks, water, and the atmosphere and can enter an ecosystem from all these nutrient pools. Let's just see, maybe we find maybe. Nutrients may also be lost from an ecosystem. They can, for example, be washed away in surface runoff or by leaching, which washes them down to the lower layers of the soil out of the reach of plant roots. So for different ways, nutrients can come there. I think we're going to find it in a moment. And they can also go away. They can be washed away with water or for leaching down deeper down to the ground. If they are taken into the tree, they seem to stay there. If the tree is then dying, they are again decomposed and it becomes soil again and they seem to stay there. Leaching occurs in areas where there is plenty of rain but soil drainage is good. Soluble salts such as calcium and magnesium are washed downwards through the soil and redeposited in the lower layers. The upper layers become increasingly acidic and less fertile. So if there's a region with much rain, but it is for the water to go easily down, when there's a lot of water falling down and going deep through the rock, taking with it some nutrients which are dissolved, I guess, in the water, away from the part where the plants are growing. And if they're all going away, then the ground isn't so good anymore for plants. Glaying gives soil a distinctive blue coloring. It occurs where soils are not well drained, for example on gentle slopes and in hollows on impermeable rock. Not well drained when we're becoming blue, glaying. The waterlogged conditions cause iron salts to be chemically changed from reddish to grey-blue color. Glaying is common in the reddish soils, especially in boggy, moorland areas like the Pennines. Okay, they're saying the soil becomes a little bit blue because not well drained, so not much rain. Because iron salts are chemically changed from reddish to grey-blue. Energy flow. All energy comes from the sun. Let's just read on. Green plants use sunlight to make their own food, glucose, through the process of photosynthesis. Water and carbon dioxide are also essential for photosynthesis to occur. Green plants are known as primary producers because of their ability to produce food. So the plants are using water from the ground and carbon dioxide also from the air together with sunlight to make photosynthesis to get their food there, the glucose. And they are producing food, so they have here classified them as primary producers. Nutrient cycle in an ecosystem. Biomass can be there, all living things in the ecosystem, both plants and animals. Okay, everything which lives, plants and animals, are in total the biomass. Soil, developed by the mixing of dead organic material with weathered bedrock. So the eroded rock material, firm rock, now loose, very loose, minerals out of it, and the leaves and all stuff, the biomass. Litter, dead organic materials such as fallen leaves and tree trunks and dead animals. So litter are the fallen down things, the leaves fall down. Nutrients fall to the ground when plants and animals die. Nutrients become part of the soil when dead matter decompose. Plants take up nutrients which are dissolved in the soil. So biomass, these are all the leaves and plants, and soil, that is the ground where all the materials are in, which have fallen down the leaves if they were shed in the winter, and they have decomposed to become new soil, which is picked up again to become new biomass, new plants and animals, which are again falling down. Circles show where nutrients are stored in the ecosystem, arrows show how nutrients are transferred through the ecosystem. Okay, energy is passed on from plants to all the animals in the ecosystem through food chains and food webs. I understand what they mean. They are not passed on from that. That is the classification of what is happening there. This food energy is needed for all living processes such as growth, movement, respiration, and reproduction. Any form of muscular activity, and also neurological, I think also, in any form of animals and also plants, do we say? In all living processes, they need energy to do that movement. And therefore they eat food. How do ecosystems function? All ecosystems have two processes: the flow of energy through the system, the cycling of nutrients. If either of these processes is disrupted, the whole ecosystem will be affected. Okay, what would happen to the numbers of Arctic foxes if the lemming population decreased? How would the food web be affected if acidic rain damaged the trees and other plants? Let's look what is here said. Secondary consumers would be lynx. I think these are cat-like animals, but a bit bigger. Arctic fox, snowy owl, Arctic wolf, woodpecker. Primary consumers are the Arctic hare, lemming, reindeer, and insects. And primary producers are mosses, leaves, and grasses, conifers, trees, and shrubs. So there's the soil on which the trees are growing, and also mosses, leaves, and grasses, and shrubs. They are then eaten by the first consumers, the primary consumers, the hare, so rabbits, lemmings, reindeers, insects. And then some other animals are eating other animals, like the lynx or the Arctic fox, the snowy owl, the Arctic wolf, or the woodpecker. They are the secondary consumers. The arrows show how energy is moved through the food web. Because every plant and animal uses up energy to live, there is less and less energy to be passed on. This is why a food chain rarely has more than 5 links. Decomposers also obtain their energy from the food web. When plants and animals die, these organisms help in the process of decay, which is important in the cycling of nutrients. We have it here. So the little decomposers, the microorganisms, are decomposing and breaking down the leaves and other stuff. Okay, that was ecosystem. If you were here for botany, you can go directly to the next part of botany, where we will continue with botany. If we're going to go back to that and try to make 2-3 presentations out of it, what is going on there. If you stay here and participate in the stretching, then it's going to be honest. Have your feet standing together, out with one foot to the side and with the other one, with the heels and the other heels, and so on, as far as you can go. And back in again, toes, toes, heels, heels. And up. Legs to the sides, the leaf and the arms up. And out go to the side. In middle. And out to the outside. In middle. And out down to one side. Again in. Out one arm over. In and out the rib cage. Out and back. Again in. Out the other arm slides down. In. Out one arm over. In. And back. The arms up. Out and reach. In middle. Out and reach. In. Out and down. And shoulder circles. Back, up, front, and down. And now the other way around the front. Up, back, and down. In the shoulders up. Out, let them fall down. In and up. Out and down. And both the arms up. And to reach all this with one arm up. And the legs to the front part, arms to the sides, breathe in. And out go over to one side. In middle. Out to the other side. In. And out lean onto the knees. Breathe again in. Out one shoulder in front. In and back. Out the upper one in front. In and back. And out the way hanging down. Breathe again in. Out go over to one side. Again in. Out over to the other side. Again in. Into the middle. And close the feet again. Again in. And out. Again in. And out comes slowly with a round back up. Backward shoulder roll at the top. The feet are pointing a bit to the outside. In the arms up. And out sink down. Elbows against the inside of the knees. The reef and straighten up. And out and come with the back up. Reef again in. Out and down. In and straighten up. And out comes slowly in one straight line up. Hands again down. Have a good standing leg. The heel of the other leg on top of its knee. Breathe in. Out and down. Change. And out and down. Legs to the sides, the finger down. And out, open the chest to the sky. In and up. Out and down. In and up. Out and down. In. And out. In and close the legs. And get out. That was the stretching. I thank you very much. And until next time.